Wheatingars investment in labor force, investment in capital construction, and investment in current assets fall under the investment classification.
Clear logic. Your choice according to economic content is sound and 100% true.
It deals with the broad spectrum of concepts, principles, analytical techniques, policies, and practices regarding institutional investment.
Bravo! Investment management is the answer.
The process of allocating funds for an investment is distinctive because every stage within this process serves as a controlled checkpoint.
Great job! Investment management controls is the accurate answer.
Type of investment in the economy wherein investors buy and sell financial assets and manage individual investment portfolio themselves.
Well done. Direct investing is the right choice.
22th Foreign capital is capital formed not from internal accumulation of the national economy, but originating from abroad. It could be.
Nicely done. Official development support capital is a solid answer.
Why is understanding the regulatory environment crucial when exploring investment opportunities in specific emerging markets?
Nice selection. Regulatory changes can impact investment conditions and returns is the correct and valid answer.
When exploring investment opportunities in specific emerging markets, which sectors might show significant growth potential?
Smart move. Technology and innovation sectors is an accurate answer. What term describes the strategy of spreading investments among different types of assets or asset classes to reduce risk? Excellent choice. Portfolio diversification is the right answer.
Dash is an investment strategy where an investor seeks to purchase securities that are priced below their intrinsic value.
Correct response. Value investing is the most accurate answer.
Investors who overestimate their abilities and underestimate the risks involved in investment decisions are exhibiting.
Good thinking. Overconfidence bias is the right answer.
A type of investment that generally involves some kind of tangible asset, such as land, machinery, factories, etc.
Smart pick. Real investments is the correct choice.
Studying industry and companies' performance for taking an investment decision is called what kind of a strategy?
On track. Active is the correct answer.
Investors nearing retirement will typically shift their investment portfolios to include dash risk investments.
Nice work. You chose lower, and it is correct.
What is the term for a stock that pays regular dividends and is considered a stable investment with lower risk?
Well picked. Income stock is the correct answer.
Dash is based on tips, rumors, and hunches, unplanned and without knowledge of the exact nature of risk.
You got it? Your choice gambling is right.
21. Domestic capital is capital formed from internal accumulation of the national economy. It could be.
Exactly. All of the above makes sense, and it is right choice.
In a real asset investment simulation, how is the valuation of tangible assets typically determined?
You chose through appraisals and market comparable, and it is correct.
Investment may be defined as the process of sacrificing dash in order to get dash in the future.
Excellent. Current income and better returns is a brilliant choice.
Which among the statements is a potential challenge associated with sector rotation strategies?
Correct. Limited diversification is the right answer.
What is a common characteristic of infrastructure as a real asset investment opportunity?
Strong choice. Long gestation periods for returns is the right answer. Which among the statements is the primary goal of income-oriented investment strategies? You're right. Generating a steady stream of income is the correct answer.
What is a consideration when dealing with foreign exchange risk in emerging markets?
Solid response. Fluctuations in currency values can impact investment returns is a valid choice.
Which of the following is confirmation bias in the context of investment decisions? Great thinking. Seeking information that confirms pre-existing beliefs is the right choice. In a real assets investment simulation, how does diversification typically occur? Sharp thinking. Acquiring a mix of tangible assets across different sectors is the right choice.
Employment of funds with the aim of achieving additional income is known as dash.
Valid point. Investment is true.
Which of the following is considered a direct real asset investment opportunity?
Well reasoned. Owning physical real estate properties is the correct choice.
What is a common exit strategy for private equity and venture capital investors?
Right choice. Selling shares on the public stock market is the best answer.
How do real assets contribute to income generation in an investment simulation?
Perfect. By providing a steady stream of dividends is the correct choice. Which of the following statements is not part of the definition of investment? Right again. The aim is to reduce the impact of inflation is a valid answer. Management content in the subject, investment project management, includes.
Good job. Your answer all of the above works well here.
Lending money at interest from credit institutions is an investment method.
Well picked. Indirect is the correct answer.
Compared to venture capital, private equity investments typically have a
Bravo. Longer investment horizon is the answer. Which strategy is generally associated with a higher tolerance for risk? Excellent choice. Momentum strategies is the right answer.
Who is the father of value investing or simply father of investment?
Well reasoned. Benjamin Graham is the correct choice. What best describes the typical investment horizon of growth investors?
Correct. Patiently holding stocks for capital appreciation over time is the right answer.
Horse racing, game of cards, lottery are the typical examples of dash.
Right choice. Gambling is the best answer.
Private equity and venture capital investors are often attracted to
Great thinking, high risk, high reward opportunities is the right choice.
What role does farmland play as a real asset investment opportunity?
Clear logic. Your choice farmland can generate income through agricultural activities is sound and 100% true.
letting go of risk for getting a return or vice versa is called as
Nice selection. Risk-return trade-off is the correct and valid answer.
Indirect investment is an investment method in which the investor.
You're right. Do not directly participate in capital management is the correct answer.
Types of assets bought and held as an investment include all but.
Well done. Money market accounts is the right choice.
Why might investors choose to engage in international investing?
Excellent. To benefit from global economic growth and diversify risk is a brilliant choice.
Foreign direct investment in Vietnam takes the following forms.
Smart pick. All sentences are correct is the correct choice. In ethical investing, why is stakeholder engagement important? Nice work. You chose to understand and address the concerns of various stakeholders, and it is correct. Dash is the commitment of funds through collateralized lending. On track? Investment is the correct answer.
One advantage of passive investing over active investing is
perfect. Lower costs and fees is the correct choice. What investment instruments can be purchased at low prices? Solid response. Shares is a valid choice.
How many types of property management are there in Islam?
Sharp thinking. 4 is the right choice. How does the framing effect impact investment decisions? Smart move. It influences decisions based on how information is presented is an accurate answer.
17. Domestic capital used for investment is formed from.
Exactly. Accumulation from within the national economy makes sense, and it is right choice. Which of the following is not a financial investment? Strong choice. Purchase of car is the right answer. Focus on preparing for the future is part of Dash. Correct response. Asset management in Islam is the most accurate answer.
The subject, investment project management, includes.
Nicely done. 6 chapters is a solid answer. The following is not the attribute of good investment. You got it. Your choice volatility is right. Portfolio investment is done based on the investors.
Good thinking. Risk tolerance is the right answer.
What is recency bias in investment decision making?
Great job. Giving more weight to recent events than past events is the accurate answer.
What factors do we need to look at before we invest?
Right again. All of the above is a valid answer. Return on a bond investment is called as what rate? Valid point. Coupon is true.
Question 4. How many main types of investment fund?
You chose 3, and it is correct.
Buying and selling shares on the stock market is.
Good job. Your answer, indirect investment, works well here.
Here is the wrong way to get a property, except.
Smart move. State Sukuk investment is an accurate answer. Which is the most liquid investment instrument?
Right choice. Shares is the best answer. Which type of investment is the least risky? Nice work. You chose savings account and it is correct.
The main objectives of investment are dash.
Right again. All of the above is a valid answer. A professionally managed investment scheme.
Excellent choice. Mutual funds is the right answer.
investment facilities in the past accept?
Good thinking. Bond is the right answer.
The overall investment risk is known as.
Nice selection. 5 successive waves is the correct and valid answer.
Safest investment are dash investments.
Solid response. Short term is a valid choice.
As per economics, investment is dash. Smart pick. Building productive assets is the correct choice. Investment in government securities.
Excellent. Zero risk is a brilliant choice.
Which investment is the most risky?
Well done. Stock is the right choice.
Bond is what kind of an instrument?
Great thinking. Debt is the right choice.
An investment project, including. Bravo, 6 basic elements is the answer.
Dash is the probability of loss.
Valid point, risk is true.
Investments can be classified. You're right. All sentences are correct is the correct answer.
Investment project aimed at.
Great job. All sentences are correct is the accurate answer. As per finance, investment is well reasoned. Both is the correct choice.
Real estate investment means.
Good job. Your answer, all of these works well here.
Financial assets include.
You chose all of these, and it is correct.
Real investment is dash.
Nicely done. Investment in plant, machinery at sea is a solid answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Correct. Contact Narayan Changda is the right answer.